Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dry Down, the lifestyle channel where we as enthusiasts aspire to enhance and elevate our olfactive sensory experiences through the understanding of the different aromas, facets, and nuance of scent, cigars, and wines. I'm your host, Chris. Welcome to today's experience. I want to hop on today. This is not a review. This is just a quick question that I actually want you guys to tap in on. I want the community here that we building at the Dry Down to tap in on the question that I received today. And that classic question is, which one would I choose? And what I got is a friend of the channel, great dude. He taps in all the time, and I really love the conversations that we've had in choosing and picking fragrances, and also talking about our collections. And what he wanted to know was, would I choose, or what was my favorite of the choices of a rose oud combination coming for the fall of 2024? And he had three specific in mind. One was Celestia by the House of Electimus, the other being Namir by the House of Bodicea Victorious, and the third being Pearl Oud by Kilian. And for me, I own three fragrances in that realm, and one he didn't mention, which was Rasasi Cambodian Ether, or Ether Cambodian. Now for me, these three fragrances all have a place in my particular collection, being all authentic made, beautifully made oud and rose combination fragrances. I really enjoy each one for its particular nuance that is more prevalent in the way that it is blended and made. But what I will say is this: I do have a choice of which one would be 1 through 4 when it comes to actually having this fragrance on my skin in certain occasions. Now each one is particularly higher nuance, as I stated. Like the Namir, for me, Namir, it has one of the better takes on the flourishing of the rose component, which most times Bodicea Victorious always completes the fragrance and makes it very beautiful blended, it's a very powerful fragrance, like most of them, especially the gold cap fragrances. This one is just like Blue Sapphire and whatnot. It has one of the most prominent note structures and the chords that just come off fabulous. And to me, the rosy nuance in this is much heavier than the rest. It also has a much richer oud take on it. So for me, Namir is the better fragrance than the three. And I say that because it has the three ouds in it, it has three roses in it, and it's a rose oud combination. It does that fabulously. Now that does not mean that the Pearl Oud and Rasasi Oud and or Celestia are takes that are not great for this particular blend, because when it comes to Pearl Oud is a much more masculine fragrance to me in my nose, and I wear this when I'm in that character of not being flirtatious, of not being much outgoing, but I want something heavy rose oud. So if I'm going to something that's a gala or something where I'm wearing a tuxedo in the wintertime, that's when I wore this particular fragrance in those arenas, and it shone very, very bright because of the way it came off and was more polished than Namir and Rasasi. It wasn't flirtatious. It's a very grand gala style of fragrance, like I stated. And so I wore this to the we had a party at the what is the museum name? The DIA, the Detroit Institute of, or DIA. What does it stand for? Detroit. Yep, I'm going blank right now. But I wore it to a gala that was at the DIA. That's one of our biggest art museums here in the Metro Detroit area, the biggest and best, most prolific in the area. And they had a gala there this past winter, and I wore this and got a lot of feedback and comments on it about how great it smelled in that arena. And like I said, that's a more masculine take on the oud, because the oud is much more pungent, much more higher dosed than the Namir is when it comes to the blending process. Now Rasasi, for me, Rasasi is a great fragrance as well, because Rasasi is more of a 3-season scent than the other two. The other two can be worn, maybe Bodicea can be worn in 3 seasons. Never none of these in the summer, because it's too heavy rose oud, unlike Blue Sapphire, which has a lot of lemon in it and stuff like that. But that's divergent from this conversation. What we're stating here is about Rasasi. Rasasi is the blend that has the most raspberry in it. Each one has a fruit accord, each one has a lively oud accord, each one has a very beautiful rose accord, but each one takes a component and blends it higher. And for Rasasi, what they did is take the raspberry accord and make it much more prominent in their fragrance, giving it just that much of a diversity against the other two. I wear this when I want to be flirtatious, when I want to go on date nights, and when I want to have something that has a rose oud combination that's sensual and sexy, almost like a Valentine's Day fragrance, other than the other two, which were masculine leaning, elegant evenings, and the Namir, which is more playful, flirtatious, really much so a going out fragrance in my opinion. Rasasi is one that even elevates it to a more romantic style because of that fruit accord. But all in all, these three fragrances, Rasasi, Aether Cambodia, Namir by the House of Bodicea the Victorious, and Pearl Oud from the House of Killing, are three that are in my collection that have a similar note structure and accord. And I wanted to ask you guys' opinion if you are familiar with these particular fragrances and or Celestia. Drop a comment below, and I'm going to send this particular conversation over to my guy. Let him see what we talked about. Let him see how we came up with a great list for him to go 1, 2, 3, 4, or even 5 if you have more, and then help our community pick the perfect fragrance this coming fall. So if you guys are up to the challenge, just go ahead and drop a comment below. Let him know. Even if, like I said, if it's one that I haven't had on my list and he doesn't, if it has the same similarity to it, drop it below. There's nothing here just to let us know what's going on. No gatekeeping. We're gonna let these fragrances rock and shine for all of us. So like I said, just drop a comment below. Welcome to the Dry Down family. If you're getting this video first, have a blessed day. Peace.